Inside you, one person's up. I'm going to go into that space. If still one person's up, I'm going to give it back.
Press over, Marley. Get over to half, Marley.
你上你就一定要摸到那个人，然后你就提前准备好，你就要去扑那个球，好吧？好吧？好吧？明白吧？啊。
Welcome back, and as you can see, South Africa versus Ireland in the mixed 18 here at the Atlantic Youth Touch Cup at the University of Nottingham Riverside Complex, and it's pouring down with rain. It's very cold, but the enthusiasm and the actual energy that everybody's pushing down on us here, you don't feel the cold. And the good stuff is, not only have I got the expert alongside me all day that I have with Joe, we are joined by Thabo from South Africa. Good morning, Thabo.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good to meet you. This English weather is really pouring down. What a welcome we're getting here. But as the game's about to get going here, we see that Ireland's already on the attack.
And so, Thabo, you're going to give us the inside on the South African team. And everything that they're going to, probably call the plays Tony Romo style, yeah?
Oh, it's a great long ball out to the wing. Good defense from the South African side.
Very good defense.
Yeah, so we're already underway. Joe, looking good?
Yeah, looking really good to begin with. You know, Ireland threw the long ball. South Africa defended it relatively well. Just surrendering possession through a roll ball infringement.
So Thabo, what now? Inside the just outside the first minute, and Ireland looking strong. Now, as I say, you notice that I did mention it's mixed. That's girls and boys playing on the same team. Great to see. Athleticism from both of them will be coming forward. Both got big squads here.
I've got to say, actually, if the South African women in this mixed side are anything like the players that they have for the girls 18s and the girls 20s, then they're going to be just as fast as all of the men. They were electric on live stream yesterday.
Yeah, a mixed game is quite something special. Gets a little bit technical, trying to work and play a bit of advantage around getting around your girls. So technical side of things does come in, and I think for the coaches it'll be interesting to see what they've got from the Ireland side as they're attacking here.
Oh, what ball.
Yeah, interesting take there. I see they're going for the long ball again. With these type of weather conditions, I wonder if they'll be persisting a little bit more on that, a little bit unforced areas there, using the ball around touch 3. Would have tried to see, I would have liked to have seen them use the ball a little bit more before going for that long option.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's one of those where I'm always of the belief if you want to strike the line first and then look to move expansive, if you're throwing the long ball on touches 2 and 3 and it goes to ground, then you've wasted 3 opportunities to strike at the line. And Ireland maybe just trying to go expansive too early. Oh, brilliant feet, no touch claimed, and might get caught, but the pass back on the inside is perfect. As South Africa go coast to coast, opening the score.
All right, South Africa making something out of nothing there. I think a little bit of a step.
Yeah, boom, boom, bye. Puts the gas on. Covering defender eats up the ground, but no problem. The composure's there.
Oh, great support play there as well from number 13. Well done.
Reed Williams there with the support play while wearing the what I call the tennis cap.
Yeah.
You know, I tell you, I don't know what it's doing. It's not keeping the sun out of his eyes. It's a death cert.
Ireland losing their possession there straight off the tap off.
Yeah, unfortunate. Just a roll ball error there. Surrenders possession over to Ireland. And at the moment, it seems like South Africa just needs to get on the ball a little bit more. Ireland having all of the early possession. 32 short. Good feet. South Africa hold the space really well. Something I like to see in defence is not biting too early, holding your space, protecting the line.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Let's see if how they defend this.
Oh. Ooh, just gets the offside call.
All right, falling offside there. Penalty against South Africa, not making line. But Ireland's looking a little bit lethal on that dive then. Great weather to be playing the dive. I think much better than the expensive play of the long ball.
Yeah, definitely. Although you'll be knowing when this Ireland side are diving, because white shirts in this weather. Yeah, it's going to show up early.
And here comes Ireland. Oh, it seems to be.
And it's given.
Great try from Ireland.
Yeah, really good heads-up play. So some of his teammates in the sub-box screaming, look at him, because the rapper seemed in acres of space. Doesn't need it, goes, and yeah, the ball is down just before the touch comes in. Ireland even the game up at 1 try apiece.
Right, here comes up South Africa. Let's see what they've got for the Ireland team.
First real bit of attacking possession for South Africa, actually. Got their try through a really fast transition. Sweeper play. Ooh, ball goes to ground.
It's unlucky there, but South Africa doing everything at a pace. I mean, when they move on those second, third phases, they seem to really bring the pace into the game.
Yeah, definitely. The pace of South Africa is evident. I mean, we saw it yesterday in the girls 20s and girls 18s. I mean, the pace is just electric. And the core skills as well are second to none. The catch and pass. And they get the reward for all the defensive pressure.
Yeah. We've seen our Ireland losing possession again in their own half. I think both teams need to be a little bit more mindful of the weather.
The way they bring it on pace, and like you say, you know, electric there. So somebody in a minute's going to come and say, "You're right."
Here comes South Africa again. Let's see, there's a rapper coming around. Bit of a slip from Ireland.
Oh, hands.
Oh, it's great defense from the Ireland team.
And that's a good sign, basics there. Ball's going out, over her head, everything else. All you had to do was catch it, and it kept everything alive.
Oh, good touch. Lovely imagination from South Africa to try and create something from nothing, but Ireland up to it at the moment. And South Africa will try and put another big defensive shove on. They've just shown that they can draw penalties.
Here comes Ireland, some great drive up in the center. Oh, some wonderful hands from the Irish team.
Great touch.
Again, the basics, so much yards there by, you know, not taking the touch, clearing the ball out. The transition on the side here was absolutely sublime as well.
Yeah.
4 on, 4 off as they came around on the J. Oh, look at me with talking all the tactics here.
Should have you out in the sub box.
Yeah. I've got to big up just 1 second that the South African link, or maybe get away with a hips not square there, but the South African link in defence gets a really big shot on. Stops all the Irish momentum. South Africa recycling the play. Got wheels. Yes, he does. Steps back on the inside, finds the ball away, but that's 6 touch and turnover. South Africa maybe just need to implement a little bit more structure in their attack to then give the ball to the fast players in open space, rather than always having to work against organised yet fragmented Irish defence.
Fully agree with you. A bit of structure is lacking there, and they need to try and compose themselves, get into their policies.
Yeah, it's something that we saw from South Africa yesterday in the first game on live stream. It was a little bit fragmented, and then the coaches seem to have worked an absolute masterclass over the break, because they came back to that second game, both girls 18s and girls 20s, and there was structure, there was pace, there was power, and then they were able to use their natural ability and their core skills to the best. You know, because if you're receiving the ball in space, you don't have so much time to use your fancy footwork to find the pass, and that's what you need in touch.
That's right. And I think the discipline sometimes lacks with the youngsters with the quick feet and trying to take advantage of players in front of them before they exhaust the structured play. And here we go, South Africa trying to attack the line again. Let's see if they use their possession.
.32. Just a little bit static. Now they use the ball. And it's well covered there from Ireland.
Yeah, no real threat there to Ireland, unfortunately. Static play.
Yeah, Irish defence too experienced, won't let that worry them. But South Africa get the penalty, and now this is this opportunity to use your playbook, use your structure, create some separation in the Irish defence. Quickie play. Half picks up. Half can't score.
See if the ref's picked up. That's a dummy half there. Oh, the refs have missed that.
Irish box are incensed by that. South Africa sweeper play, much better, dives for the line.
Oh, better structure. Wonderful wrap there. Just beating the offside defender. Much better play from South Africa. You called it, they need a little bit more structure, and I think that will just assist them then coming in with their offensive players. We see the wrap coming around there and just beating the outside link.
Yeah.
Well played, well played.
Yeah, big left foot whack to get underneath the cover in middle. And again, it's, you know, South Africa, I feel, just needs to use a little bit of more conventional structure, because once they do, they put their players with such power and pace in space, and they're able to use the fancy footwork. We saw the left foot step there to get underneath the cover in middle, and unfortunately thought he dove at the line, but he's dove at the 7-metre line. Saw that happen a few times yesterday.
Gets a little bit confusing sometimes when you're on the field. Oh, here comes Ireland.
Good
Yes,
defensive play.
6-up.
South Africa, I wonder if this is something you can help us with. South Africa always seem to defend really tight and back their pace to chase out. Is that something that the coaches have gone, this is how we're playing, no matter who's in front of us?
Yeah, as we see Ireland just turning over, unfortunately, South Africa with an unforced error, dropping the ball in their own half, and Ireland is chasing. Oh, well done, well done. Good chase across there. Ireland nearly scoring out on their wing. It's got a winners from the Irish team. Here they come again on the line. Let's see if they take advantage of their numbers.
Oh,
Might
forward.
be a forward pass there. Yeah, coming back to your question, you're spot on there in terms of the way the South African structure has been. They've tried to put on their quicker linkers. And one of their mids is, they play with a strong mid and one quick mid to try and chase and almost do a bit of a cover savior type play.
Yeah.
If there isn't a breach at the end, but try and put pressure up with the rest of the onside players. Here comes a South African player running straight through. Oh, it's been a great touch by the Irish player there.
Two really good defensive interventions there, and maybe Ireland giving South Africa a taste of their own medicine with that tight defence, because that chaser was absolutely spot on, diving at full length to make the touch. I thought for all the world South Africa were going to go through and extend their lead out, but the Irish intervention proves good enough.
Touch 4, touch 5 coming up, so should be a strike dump. Let's see what Ireland's got for South Africa. Oh, and he's through, straight through.
What a touch. What a touch.
Oh, great movement from the Irish there.
Yeah.
The mids were working the South African mids very well.
Yeah, they just created that separation. You know, both middles engaged, and then the player nearly goes through the gap. But again, it's that sort of last-ditch athleticism you rely on. And South Africa are able, yeah, that's a hard touch. Is no absorbing, always pushing backwards. And Ireland in danger of not, I wouldn't say losing their heads, but maybe starting to lose a little bit of composure. They've had a few decisions go against them. That much is true, but you can't allow that to affect the rest of your game, especially in such a tight game as this.
Yeah, I fully agree. That could definitely affect how you're playing. And they've got good momentum. They're 2 behind. They want to keep their composure. Good defense there by the Irish link.
It's difficult to hold that when the guy's coming at such pace that you've got to try and touch him but not have any form of aggression in there.
Oh, what a finish. She might be a
Ran out of
touch.
space there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, just at the touch, but edge of the seat stuff.
Oh, I think South Africa will get a penalty, though. Unsure at the call. It will be Irish ball.
The Ireland defense putting on a good drive, managing to have a wonderful sub there with 3 fresh legs. Let's see if they move the ball into the center there. Fifth and last there. They should have looked to use that strike dump. See if they can work a bit of magic here on the last touch. Going slightly backwards.
Yeah.
South African defense holding there. There's a bit of strategy that needs to come in again, unfortunately, when you feel it gets a little bit risky on the last touch. And I see the Irish are implementing that.
Yeah.
Take the ball to your sub box. Oh, great pressure from the Irish defense. Great mid-D. A little bit unlucky there, not rolling the ball from the mark. Ref just calling them back. Should help the Irish side get a little bit more composed.
Oh, no touch was called, but the Irish player saying, I did initiate that, sir. Don't worry about it. And now Ireland will have 3 touches at the line to strike.
And touch rugby is a bit of a game of honesty, ain't it? It's actually good to see that people taking a bit of accountability and being honest in the touch there, the South African player owning up to it.
Yeah, and
100%.
just earlier in the earlier game, we had that try was good, ref.
Yeah.
Call from him. I mean, okay, they were 14-1 up at the time, but it's still nice to hear it. So, but you mentioned one thing there about they take the game to the sub box, and so it's another tactic that your move is going to rotate around towards the sub box, so you can do that quick transition.
Yeah,
and get the ball in the right place.
Yeah, that's right. And you're trying to maximize on as much movement as you can, obviously limiting your touches as you're going forward. And as the touches become fewer and fewer, you want to make sure that you've moved the team from either left to right.
Yeah.
Give yourselves a better chance of trying to break through. Here come Ireland, almost just making it through. Seeing the refs being quite strict on if you're not giving the ball straight back after being touched or throwing the ball away. And a number of the teams from the different divisions, unfortunately, falling prey to that.
No, it's something that the refs have become especially hot on recently, ensuring that the pace of play is continued throughout the game. Ireland may be fortunate to get away without a hard touch there. This is fifth coming now, so they need to scoop. They look for the sweeper play, they feed it. Great feet. Oh, and he's ghosted all the way through. I think the touch is being called.
Oh, almost creating nothing, something out of nothing there.
Yeah,
Well
he's
done
got
to the
electric
Irish
feet.
defense.
There's a sixth touch as well, so nothing to lose at the end there.
No, and that's what you want to do as well. You know, so they've killed the ball over on the far side, which forces Ireland to drag the ball all the way across the field towards their sub box. So you're making the Irish team work so much harder to get fresh legs onto the field, and then you're able to put a bit more of a nudge on as they complete their transition.
Yeah, it definitely does make it way hard for the attacking team to try and exit that red zone of theirs. And it's a great strategy that should be used by most teams.
So good, so good.
Unfortunately, they just got a penalty there, and they had 6 touches. Need to play a lot. I feel in that instance you want to play the safe game rather than just trying to scoop off that, getting touched as the half there and losing all 6 touches.
Yeah, I think it was a really good defensive read as well from the South African link, because you see him drop so early. As soon as that ball got dumped, he flew out of the line. And it's a move I love myself, and I'm sure he'll be doing the same thing, but you're stood there in line with the referee going, am I good, sir? Am I good, sir? Am I good, sir? And as soon as he says yes, off the line, putting the press on.
Oh, here comes the South African player, some wonderful footwork, and he's going to make it all the way. And he does with a wonderful slide.
Oh, wow, referees have called touch. Oh my word. What a defensive effort. We'll have to have a look at this, because I thought the feet were just too good. Receives it there. 1 dummy, 1 step, 2 step, 1 man on the floor, 1 step.
And there was the touch. There was the touch.
I think he can feel hard done by there.
I want you selling for me. I tell you, you're impressed.
And again,
is given.
No, another last-ditch touch comes in.
Hey, Irish team need to be a little bit more aware of the number 1 from South Africa, making sure that they look out for Leroy Daniels. Seems to have quick feet and causing a lot of problem for the Irish team. And again, Leroy Daniels does it on his 3rd try.
Yeah, that's the same. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Can't fool me 3 times. Beautiful feet. Had one attempt that was called off. Second attempt called off, and then he just shows the feet. Dummy, step, 2-on-1, execution. And South
Rachel
Africa.
Sessing's pleased to be on the end of that.
Yeah, mate,
'Cause
South
that's
Africa looking hot.
A nice little gift.
In Ireland for their good work of finding themselves 4-1 down, and Ireland, I think, are well within their rights to say that South Africa, some of the South African players are dropping a little early, but you can't allow these little decisions to affect the way that you play. They pick up, look wide, wings on.
Oh, that's a well-worked try.
Oh, right on the hooter as well. So Ireland bring the deficit back down to 2 right on half-time, and you know, this is really well worked. They dummy the quickie, fix the player, and then just loop the ball nice and sympathetic pass to the wing who catches it and grounds it. And Ireland maybe have left a couple scores out there, but South Africa have put way too much pressure on in D, and South Africa 4-2 up. I mean, good value for the lead.
Yeah, I wonder how the Irish are going to look to try and assist their girls there. I think the mids need to get a little bit closer, otherwise that number 1 from South Africa, Leroy Daniels, is going to try and take as much advantage. And it's the 2nd time he's done that in this first half. I wonder if there will be a bit of a tactical change there to try and assist the female defenders there from the Irish team, rather.
And Leroy is, I mean, he's one of those players we were talking earlier. You want to keep him on all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want him popping off. He's a real playmaker. He's making things tick in the middle there. And he's also got a little bit of pace on him.
Yeah, he's shown he can be absolutely electric in broken field. And I think the key thing for Ireland, if we're talking about how Ireland stops someone with that threat, is traditionally you would say to condense that defensive line and drag it all the way short and force him to throw wide. However, if he's still being able to find success, then you've got to think about the shape in which that you promote, using that umbrella shape to pen him into a certain area and restrict his ability to find that open space. It just depends whether Ireland can A, recognise it, B, fix it on the fly, because those are, you know, you may be able to spot it, but fixing it on the fly, you've got to be a good touch player to do that.
Yeah, I do agree with the umbrella shape. I think that will assist in trying to compress Leroy Daniels. And it's not just him, but obviously at the moment he's doing the most damage. And I do think it is something that Ireland needs to look out for. Hopefully that is something that will be changed and looked at by the tactical team there and the coach from the Irish team.
What do you see changing in the second half from either Ireland or South Africa? I mean, because it's 4-2, feels like it was a little bit closer than that, but like you say, Ireland would jump in on some of those decisions that were going against them.
Yeah, so for Ireland, I'd say just reset. You left some scores out there, that's fair to say. You also maybe let a couple scores in that, had you been more aware, you would have been able to get across and make that touch. Ireland in attack aren't stretching South Africa enough. They aren't creating that middle separation, not moving the ball. Yes, it's wet weather, but South Africa have shown you can move the ball in wet weather. So Ireland need to be able to use that in a more educated way, create the separation, and then run your strike play. For South Africa, I mean, it's more of the same, really. They've not done anything too wrong. The only thing I would say is that error count is slowly starting to creep up. And the more errors, the more you're just conceding possession to your opposition. And you don't really want to allow Ireland to warm back into the game. So if you can bring that error count all the way back down, you'll limit all of Ireland's opportunities.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. And I think for Ireland, a little bit more patience seems to be working for them on the line, using up more of their touches, setting up the defense's composure, and then they can predict that they've got great long passes. Yeah. I know earlier on we saw the girls dropping because of the rain, but it seems like the girls are catching it now. So there should be a strategy putting South Africa on the back foot with that. But that patience needs to come through a little bit more. From the South African side, I think that structure that we spoke about, every time they've brought in a bit of structure, they look lethal.
Oh, yeah.
And if they can play off that structure, as you mentioned earlier on, then bringing in the feet off that, they stand a better chance of keeping up that pressure. But let's see how the second half goes through.
It's going to be an exciting one. So we got the 30-second warning.
Yeah.
We're just about there. Ireland are taking their time and getting themselves ready. But I think this is going to be, well, it's definitely going to be the closest game we've had so far. And to me, it's still in the balance. But I think South Africa just may be able to edge it if they keep Leroy. That's the playmaker in there. He creates so much, and just giving him half a chance, and he's pushing him back.
Yeah, and I think, you know, they started to utilise their fast players off the back of the sweeper play, having him wrap around and then receiving the ball in open space. If I was South Africa, I would do nothing but that in this second half.
Keep
just
that pressure up.
Absolutely nothing but that. Keep it basic so everyone knows what it is, what's happening, and just give those danger men the ball in space.
Yeah.
You know, when you've got someone with that with the electric feet that can, you know, dance your way out of a phone booth, they're the people you want in the space. So I would like to see here from South Africa a very quick drive down to the line, and then stick to those sweepers. Let's get the gas men on the ball in space, and then play around that shooter.
Sweeper, just as you called it, and running on. Setting up again on the left mid. Here comes in and he's in for the dive.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
And that structure paying off, just as we've just spoken about that.
So good, so good. And what I like about South Africa's setups is they take the extra second to throw the Aussie, to engage both defenders. Both defenders then come up, and yes, the touch has been made, but the ball is down beforehand as the rain really starts to kick up in Nottingham. South Africa, you know, benefiting from it, being able to dive from 7 meters out and get over the line. And the dive is picture perfect, hands on top of the ball, almost using it to propel yourself forward. Very hard to defend.
It's almost as if he's sliding in there.
Yeah. It's superb. And now Ireland trying to reply. 32 short. Little bit of footwork, gets to the line. But the difference is in the two defensive pictures you're seeing from Ireland and South Africa. South Africa are off the line making the touch. Ireland are on the line making the touch. So the referee is saying, if you're on the line making the touch, the ball is down. But if you're off the line making the touch, there's no way that the ball can be down. So you've got to paint those good pictures to the referee to get the decisions that you want in those instances.
Yeah, that's right. It's controlling the referee indirectly there.
Yeah.
And I think you're correct. Most of the refs will give it as a touchdown first, before as we see the ball being misplaced there. Unfortunately, that will be a turnover. Let's see what Ireland can come up with it.
Yeah, and you can see the South African press straight away, getting up in the faces. And not going as threes, going as a flat line of 5, so negating the option for Ireland to pass around the shooters. So Ireland aren't able to use the ball skills to generate extra space.
Here comes South Africa, good driving in the centre there.
I think that one's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Irish player feeling a little bit hard done there. And both teams need to be a little bit more careful around this weather.
Yeah.
It does seem that the refs sometimes are a little bit lenient, but just to rather try and keep control, slow down in the ruck situation.
You want to protect that ball at all costs, and here comes the sweeper play. Oh, brilliant hands to pick that one off the ground. I was on top of shoelaces. South Africa recycling. Deviate from the sweeper, go for the quickie. Ball should have gone back on the inside. The player was there, but they will get the repeat set of 6. Ball was knocked down, hands were in the passing lane from Ireland's perspective. And South Africa trying to capitalise. Went to run the sweeper, just not quite on the same page. Sweeper's coming now. And there's the space, there's the footwork. If he dove on the outside, the player would have been offside. Player was offside.
Players need to try and take advantage of listening to the refs. Sometimes the refs are calling those players being offsides, and if you can get the ball down, it might be an advantage to you, and sometimes the refs award those.
Yep.
Here comes South Africa.
I think that's ball to ground, but I think that'll be the 2nd consecutive penalty for offside. And the ref has forced up the Irish middle for chat. And that's something you don't want, not from an Irish perspective. If you're starting to lose your concentration and lose your focus and then begin to chat to everyone, to the rest that are on the field, you know, you lose your momentum, you lose your impetus, and you lose your focus, and most importantly, you lose your structure, because, you know, pods are designed for people to play together, and if one player's been forced subbed, you're then messing up that structure.
Yeah,
it's just an unnecessary penalty. Quickie, step back, 2 Irish players on the floor.
Well played. Well played.
Huge right foot whack, puts both Irish defenders on the floor. He says, you two need a timeout. I'm getting over the line.
Putting on the show and go.
Receives it back, boom, with the fingertip tape as well. We love it.
I think Ireland just getting a little bit rattled there.
Yeah.
And it's a tough one when you start engaging with the referees. You lose focus on the game.
Yeah.
It's a tough discipline for coaches to try and get the kids with all the emotions that are taking place. But here comes Ireland. Let's see what they've got here. They need to try and get back into the game.
Yeah, they're persisting with the 32. South Africa defended it well so far. But I think Ireland will get over South African offside defender. And Ireland replies straight away. And you can't help but feel like if they focus more on that aspect of the game, they're going to start finding more success.
Yeah. That's a great response from Ireland. South Africa scored, and immediately from that tap off, they get one back.
Just a little slip allows the player to go over. Ireland get the reward, and South Africa now coming back, with hopefully with a reply of their own. Tap off option, 2 32s. Third. And now they start to move the ball. Quickie, open side. Oh, lovely. Middle's offside, no one else makes that touch. That should get given, and it is.
That's
South
great
Africa.
awareness. Great awareness there from Fareed Williams, listening to the ref calling the mid off.
Yeah, it's exactly what you said. Exactly what you said. Listening to the referee, recognising when players are offside, and then chopping the line. Perfect heads-up play.
It's important that Irish don't let the ref get into their heads again. Let's hope they've got a good response here again.
Oh, they might have the perfect
Great
response
yards.
here. Great touch.
Just a bit unlucky, they're almost breaking through.
Every time Ireland look like they're pulling it back in, South Africa looks something up their sleeve. They just seem to keep them at arm's length.
It's a really good play, but the covering defender shuts in time. It must be frustrating now for Ireland. They really started to throw the kitchen sink at it, and South Africa just finding a way to defend it.
Oh,
lovely.
That is a wonderful dive.
Kieran Byrne gets over. Lovely open side quickie. Finds the space. And this is much better from Ireland in the past 5 minutes. Open side quickie, fast one round the outside, gets underneath the covering defender. Unfortunately, the South African defender just retreated beyond the line, so then had to dive over to make the touch, and ball is always down. And Ireland bring the deficit back down to 3, and a three score is the difference. You know, it's not out of Ireland's reach.
Yep, definitely. Here comes South Africa. Great defense from the Irish link. Seems like they've compressed that defense a little bit more with the 2 girls.
Yeah.
I think that tactical change might just be working, making it difficult for the South Africans step through or stepping around the players.
This is a much better Irish defence, flying up, getting onside and then bouncing. Brilliant touch, that's 5th. I don't think the South African player acknowledges it, does now. And now they won't have a touch to play with. They've got to create something from nothing, but I've said that before and it's happened. Unfortunately, it looks like they're trying to set up something. It doesn't quite come to fruition, and that's the product of that Irish defence starting to put the pressure on, starting to squeeze a little bit more, but South Africa reply immediately.
There was great pressure from Ireland to turn that ball around, and unfortunately now with the unforced areas from both sides, feels like a ping pong match at the moment. Would hate to be the referee.
Yeah, both teams trying to put the press on and force errors, and the refs go from one side to the other. probably a little bit fuming with the amount of running that needs to be done. But Ireland now with some sustained possession, keeping hold of the ball, protecting it well in the red zone.
Ireland setting up here for the quick dive, and he's in.
Oh, wow, good.
Oh,
This game's just in danger.
Sorry, Ola just unlucky there. I think if he hadn't slipped there, he might have just made it through.
Yeah, this game's just in danger of becoming a little bit chipper. Both teams very passionate bunch.
Here comes Ola again, and it's a touch. If Ola and Sammy can just realize as they're playing here how tight that South African D is, and I think they are setting up space for the outside and maybe look for an option on the outside there.
That'll be ball down, but I think they'll get a penalty for offside. No foot in the ruck, stopping the clean dump of the ball.
Now, the tactic here for me would be Ola should be going to his left where the two female players are. Put a little bit of pressure on that South African mid. At the moment, they're attacking, looking for the outside option. They did go through for the variation. Almost pulled it off.
Interesting you mentioned about going for the weak link, or not the weak link, but the female side of it and putting the pressure on them together. And obviously he's mixed. It's a bit like mixed doubles in your tennis, you know. It's kind of like you do, but you're not meant to.
Yeah.
You know. So, but it is a tactic if you feel that that's where the link, you know, the weakness is.
That is right. A bit of a hard touch there, but seems to have gotten away with that. Ireland player. You know, the tactic around trying to expose as much as we can in terms of the weaknesses. Generally, we know it's tough at this level. The girls are just as quick as the guys.
Yeah.
But it does put a bit of pressure for almost getting away with their hands.
Really good pressure. That's a superb defensive play.
Not given that way.
Yeah.
I think
the South African team a bit lucky there.
Yeah, but again, so this is where it depends on the referee that's on field. So because he's initiated that touch and the arms have travelled past the touch and then the ball is connected with it, it's that grey area that refs will often just resort to what they deem as acceptable on the pitch.
You'd
buy anything from him, wouldn't you? Just convince me.
He convinced me too.
And I saw it completely different.
Here comes the South African team.
We're discussing a contract before you leave. You're selling stuff for me. I don't know what it is yet, but
I must say there's a lot of stop-start from the referees. The game hasn't really been flowing much.
No, especially in this second half, it's become very stop-start, I think.
Which suits South Africa at the moment because that clock just, you know, winds down. But still 8 minutes ago, this three-try deficit is within their reach. And you have to keep two females on the pitch at all times, is that the case? Three.
Two wingers, one link, or middle.
I can't see a third.
One.
We've got a winger over there, got a winger here.
South Africa currently playing with 5.
They've only,
no, there we go.
Yeah, right out wide.
Yeah, peering late, out wide, and that is throwing the ball away.
It looked like she was so wide, looked like she was on the side. Right.
Definitely listening to the coach about keep you with.
Nothing doing in that touch.
South Africa applying pressure now.
It's too obvious.
Yeah.
Too obvious there. You can see you can get away with some hard touches on occasion, but because the player has extended the arms out straight with the locked elbow, that locked elbow, the straight arm, is exactly what the referees are looking for in terms of that hard touch. So if you do lock the elbows, you're walking that line.
And that's quite dangerous as well. And another hard touch coming from the South African side. And that's a second penalty now. There should be a 4 sub.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what's happening there. That can be quite dangerous, especially in weather like this. You could definitely injure someone. Good call from the referee.
Yeah.
Notice with the 4 sub there, the game plays on. And Ireland trying to take advantage of the 5 players. South Africa's managed to get a sub on.
The next score needs to be Ireland.
There was no touch made, but you can't do that in your 7 for the defensive team. Penalty Ireland.
Cathal. Mac. Gerrit is my pronunciation, but it's difficult because the rain's dropped on there and it's smudged the name for us. So apologies to Mac's family, because that's the only word of his name that isn't smudged at the moment if we've got that wrong.
Yeah. Ireland just losing the possession there. They had an opportunity there to try and attack, and South Africa drops the ball again. I mean, both teams need to try and slow it down, try and keep possession. Here comes Ireland again attacking the line. Arthur on the ball.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, great play.
Really good score, running the short, chopping back against the grain, finds the space underneath. They've stuck to the 32 platforms and it's starting to serve them well. Yeah, lovely line off the back of the 32. It leaves the South African defender flailing on the line, and Ireland go over, bringing the deficit back down to 2, and with 5 minutes remaining, this is it's set up to be a good finish.
Game. It's going to be the tightest of the matches we've seen so far. I mean, that wasn't difficult because the first one was 14-2, but it's really building up to a crescendo of an ending here.
Yeah, Irish player goes down, stays down, referee has to stop the game, and then he just pops back up immediately. Unsure as to what has happened, but they'll just come back for the touch and reset.
Let's see what the South African attack can bring up to the line here as they attack.
Oh, lovely hands.
Playing quick hands. They needed one more there. Good defense from the Irish team. Last touch, let's see what South Africa can work up. That's great shifting D from the Irish, well played.
Yeah, really good shift in defence just to crab across to shut out any space. Ireland really begun to grow in this game. Although you'd like to see less of the complaining.
Oh, that dump didn't go through the legs.
No, Ireland get away with one there.
I'm making good yards now. Let's see if Ireland can make South Africa pay a little bit, yeah? Deficit down to 2. They pull one back now. The pressure will really be on in the last dying minute.
Yeah, 100%. And South Africa just forcing an error. Ireland may be guilty of overplaying in that instance. Now South Africa roll into a transition. Lacking support, it comes now. Good fly out the line and touch. Now South Africa need to strike.
One dump coming through, should be 5th and last. South Africa going backwards, but let's see if they can make something out of it. And great pressure from Ireland.
The Ireland defence really starting to move as a unit, and it's negating the ability to step around people that South Africa have. And at the moment, Ireland finding a lot of success in D and then rolling through with the momentum into their attack. And that's a hard touch from the side, but the referee says play on. Ball goes to ground. Possibly could have given the penalty, but it didn't affect the play. The ball was down quick enough, and South Africa get away with one.
Yeah, well, he played the advantage there, and, you know, we would have all complained if we were saying about letting the ball flow, let the game flow, aren't we? And he did, and then Ireland just, unfortunately, the opportunity for us to say, oh, there's the game flowing, well played, ref, they cocked it up.
Yeah.
But with coming up the last now 2 minutes, Ireland have got to get up the other end, and South Africa have just got to waste the time down there.
Yeah, if I was South Africa, I'd be taking as many touches as humanly possible. I'd be slowing the ball down, making sure everyone's organised, maybe having a little chat with the ref, just winding this clock down. This is game management time.
It is game management. They're going to try and use up all 6 touches here.
Sweeper play. Half's a bit late. Now they have it. Good feed.
Oh, Leroy Daniels again. That's a great touch from the winger.
It's a good covering touch.
Hang in down there now. I think that's game over.
Oh, there it is. That is now game over. They check back on the inside. They find the space. And with just over 1 minute remaining, South Africa take it to 8-5, and that will wrap it up.
We spoke a little bit earlier about putting extra players around Leroy Daniels because we know he's going to expose the girls on the outside. And again, we see that, and I think that mid needs to help the female players. They're a little bit better.
Yeah,
leaving them exposed.
In that instance, it's just a case for the Irish perspective of not moving as a unit, the inside middle not following, and then that just creates the space for the ball back on the inside. And for all of Ireland's good work and attack in the second half, there's just a couple small errors creeping in their defence, but not unfixable errors. Things that they can have a look at the footage and go, okay, defensive spacing a little bit too wide on some circumstances, so we can just close that up and make sure that we're moving as a unit of 6 rather than as 2 sets of 3, which is what seems to happen throughout the second half.
Certainly, I mean, they could have closed out if they can work on that. That's an easy 3 tries. Here comes Ireland. Some fancy footwork there.
Ireland saying, you might be able to step, but so can I, pal. Yeah, good touch, really good touch. Just getting off the line slightly, making the touch. South Africa.
And celebrated there by South Africa. Right up into the Irish eyes. And they're well pleased with that. Tabo, you must be well pleased with that.
Good play there. I think South Africa a little bit joyful on on winning that game. It's been tough out here. The competition is really high, and I can see we can definitely see the excitement in the South African players there. But what a wonderful game, and as you called it, quite a close one. I thought Ireland was making a comeback there. Just lost it 1 or 2 times again, getting involved with the referees and the calls instead of just playing on and winning those seconds. They had the momentum in that last 10 minutes, and I felt they could have pulled back at least one more. But it's well played from Ireland. Good comeback.
Yeah, it was really encouraging. I thought they were going to pull it off, to be honest. I just they got it back to 7-5, and they just needed to control that last aspects of the game. And I think that's one of the things we were saying earlier about that control and kind of like bringing it all together. Now I just had a quick word with the Irish coach, and she's going to come across and chat to us, and we can ask those questions, and we can see, exactly what her thoughts on that is. Although at the moment, just discussing it with the referee and getting the feedback. And what do you think? What do you think the main points of view are on that? What do you think she's bringing to their attention?
I mean, listening to the Irish sub box throughout that game, I think the Irish side were unhappy with some of the touches. Were unhappy with some of the decisions, and it's very easy to say when you're not in the heat of battle, but you've got to focus on the things that only you can control, and let everything else go. You might be unhappy with some decisions, and in some cases potentially rightfully so, but regardless, if you're always focusing on the refs, you're then taking attention away from the game that's on the pitch. And, I'm guilty of it when I play. I know plenty of people are. It's very easy to say on the sidelines.
And the players then end up discussing that amongst themselves and wondering what the coach is getting up to. And your coach's job is to keep you focused and not changing that. But that discussion's gone on a long time in the middle there.
Yeah.
She's cutting into our interview time.
Certainly unhappy.
And in fact, they're now wandering off across the other side to discuss that. So I don't think that little interview is going to be happening. So let's wrap that game. Tabo, pleased with it?
Thank you so much.
A bit more to work on. And Joe, Ireland, not quite there, but encouraging.
Yeah, and the small problems that they had, fixable, very fixable. It's just direction, being on the same page. Played around in the midfield a little bit too much, if we're perfectly honest. And regardless of whatever the gripes are, the game was won and lost in that transition, in that midfield battle, and South Africa were on top from the moment the game started to the moment the game finished. And whatever happened in the middle, South Africa were just getting that rub of the green. Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for joining us on that one. We're going to have a little break now, and we're back in about 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rich.